Yeah. I was saying I would like to take the premise off ACOC for a bit, yeah, just because for it to be the end all be all, yeah. If you look at someone like Yamato, right, she has it, but
Mm.
we have another character in Akainu who we know is not gonna have it. But for the people that look at it like it's the only thing
What
that
makes you think
matters,
Aki is not gonna have?
because other than Garp, we've not seen a Marine to have it. Wouldn't you think it's a bit of an arse pull if after what happened in Marineford, Akainu just start showing you ACOC now? You wouldn't see that as an arse pull.
But wouldn't we would assume that Whitebeard would have it, but how comes he didn't use it? Wouldn't that also
No,
be an
but
article as
with
well?
Whitebeard, the cop out is great because of how deteriorated he was. Like he was 72, fam. This man's
Mm.
72 and ill, and had been
Garp is
stabbed
pretty old
at
as
the
well, but
start of the
he's
battle.
he's, he's showing it.
Yeah, but Garp isn't sickly like Whitebeard.
You know what? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think the whole hacky stuff in Marineford is already inconsistent anyway. There's always gonna be somewhat like plot holes because of that. So I don't think Haki was fully developed in Oldest head.
Oh,
So
you
a lot
don't
of the
think
stuff we're
Oda
seeing with Haki
himself had
now,
everything covered
no,
back
I
then?
don't think he had everything
Mm,
covered. So everything he's doing now with Haki, that he's now kind of like stitched together from Marineford, he's kind of like not try to kind of bail himself out, but he's kind of, do you know what? Yeah, this has happened here. Let me see if I can make something with this. You know what I mean? It could be that
yeah.
because anything really and truly, he could give us anything now, and we just have to take it and just assume that he already had his thoughts there
Just
from the very
a
beginning.
random side, well, not even random because it's on topic, but just a side note, yeah. If you're looking at future sight, remember in the war when Luffy was contemplating attacking Mihawk, and then he had that
Yeah,
little like cutscene where he sees his arms being
yeah,
chopped off.
yeah.
Isn't that early future sight?
I would
Couldn't you put
say
that down as
no.
future sight?
I would say no.
How
The
come?
reason I would say no is just due to the fact that observation is already very very higgy haggy in the sense that we don't know exactly how it works and to what degree it works, and it seems like for different characters it works to different degrees. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because like you could always argue that
So
it's
so
just
so
very
so
higgy
would you
haggy. You know what
say,
I mean?
yeah? So would you say that in what would you say when Oda was drawing Marineford, he hadn't actually made up the concept of future sight back then? You didn't think he even
I
had it
think
back
Future
then?
Sight was I because you could argue that we've already seen Future Sight but used in a different way from Fishman Island, really. Um, with Madame
No, but
Shirley. I think it's
Fishman
Madame
Island is
Shirley.
post is after the time skip.
It's post, that's true.
So
Mm,
so what I'm looking at is pre, where is there anything
great. Okay.
in the early parts of the show that look that hint towards future sight other than Luffy seeing his arms get chopped off? You know,
You
come to
then
think of it,
even
yeah.
the rest of the other hacks.
Huh?
I think observation haki is just a lot more inconsistent than the other hackies. So yeah, you could probably say, yeah, this may be a glimpse of Future Sight when he fought Mihawk. But I don't really know how Future Sight works and to what degree it really works. You know what I mean? Like if you was to tell me what Future Sight, not Future Sight, if you were to tell me what observation haki is, how would you even tell me how that works?
It's the ability to sense presence in it. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, that's what you would assume. But then whenever we've seen it used, it feels like it's just a bit different. Like when are they using it? To what degree they're using it? Um, you know what I mean? It's like
No, yeah, I would say overall, haki in general is it is a bit confusing
Like you did say
because
a couple of weeks ago that with observation haki, because not observation haki with haki, the older didn't really lay it out for us. He kind of just drops something here and there, like
yeah, it's
pretty
true.
to like other anime where they'll literally give you a guide in one episode and then they'll give you little drops throughout. But then with haki, it's kind of just dropped throughout, so it's not. There's no real guide. No one really tells you a real guide from the very jump.
Yeah.
But I think
But
you
the thing
should be
about
onto something.
observation haki, yeah, I
Mm,
remember in like pre-time skip times, like when the time skip had first started, and the monster trio came back, everyone was talking about the whole Luffy specializes in King's haki, Zoro specializes in armament haki, and Sanji specializes in observation. I really thought that was gonna be a thing. Whereas what's really happened in the show is Luffy's the best at everything, and Zoro's armament haki isn't particularly special or wasn't even portrayed to be because he moved on to ACOC very fast. And
mm,
Sanji's observation haki is his best haki, but it's not anything special. It's just what he's the best at himself.
yeah,
Really, it's not anything special. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
when you look at the people that have special observation, is Katakuri and Shanks. And, even with that, you know, with Shanks stopping Kid the way he did with the future sight, knowing he's your enemy, without future sight, you'd stop him anyway, right?
yeah. I guess it was just flexing, maybe.
That's why I want to know, yeah, how far it can extend to, because it's like certain things that some of the characters say, like, when Katakuri said to Luffy, "Are you gonna come back and beat Big Mom?" And I think Luffy said, "Yeah, he will."
Yeah,
And then he said he's gonna be the Pirate King, and then Katakuri said something like, "Yeah, you're seeing real far into the future."
yeah.
So Katakuri is kind of insinuating that he sees that Luffy's gonna be the one. So
I think so.
and and,
Yeah,
and Katakuri's a future is a future sight king, right? So how far does this shit work? Plus, you have
yeah.
Shanks, who's the other
I
future sight king,
don't
and
think he
he
was
bet
insinuating that
his
he saw
arm
into the
on Luffy.
future.
Well, I
I
hope
think
not.
it was more like I believe in what you're saying.
Yeah, type of thing. It'd be better if
I
they
think
can
it's just
literally
that I
sense
believe
it.
in what you're saying. Yeah, like yeah.
Then that would be too far. But I think what's really
Because I
important is
think what he's come across the future Pirate King and Luffy. Hmm.
I was gonna say what's really
I'll
important
just
is
say
the
that he's come across
level.
like the future Pirate King and Luffy, and it was like, I know you go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna change the subject though, so you might as well.
I go.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say what's important to me is the level of or well really the degree of hacky Blackbeard comes with, because there's no reason for us to, like, okay, so Blackbeard as we know him, yeah, are you expecting a third devil fruit, or are you expecting ACOC, just of how he's been portrayed?
I'm expecting a Fed Fruit
Exactly.
based on
And i'd
portrayal.
i'd prefer that.
I'm looking at a Fed Fruit.
I'd prefer that, to
Yeah,
be honest. I want him to have
honestly, it
three
could be
awakenings, or
controversial.
at least two.
I don't think he's coming with any sick haki, bro.
Yeah, I don't think he has to. I don't think he has to. I think if he just has basic haki but masters three of his devil fruits, or two, and awakens two of them,
I think he's fine.
then he's fine, man. Wait, was Whitebeard awakened?
Good question.
Fucking
That's a good
hell, this
question.
is
I don't
fucked
know.
up. I hope shit was Whitebeard awakened, but with it being a param, have we seen a Paramecia
Why
awakening?
away?
Oh, we have
Doflamingo.
Doflamingo. Mm.
Yeah.
And what was he able to?
Could you?
Well, with
uh, Well, they say that you're able to affect the area around you, and you could argue that doesn't Whitebeard already kind of do that?
hmm that's the base of his
But
devil fruit.
does that count because it's the earthquake fruit? It's the quake fruit. So you're already kind of affecting the area around you
Yeah, by
anyway
default.
by default. So I don't know. So is there levels to it? Is that
I
type
would
of devil fruit
say
awake
I
and
would
can jump?
I
I
would
don't know.
say that he was awakened just because, one, because he's Whitebeard, and two, because they said he had the power to destroy the world. You know,
Yeah,
and that must be a next technique that he was able to do with that fruit whilst being awakened. So yeah, 100%.
actually
Another
makes
guy,
sense.
yeah, that we don't speak about enough, who was in this chapter, is Shiki. You know, Shiki was in Strong World. Yeah, everyone sees him as a
Yeah,
non-canon guy, but this is your first time really getting him in your weekly manga. Obviously, we knew he was canon because Oda confirmed it a long time ago, but Shiki's really out here. And if you look at the dynamic of
yeah,
this crew, yeah, you know, the age, a lot of people cry about One Piece ages, but you know, at least in this crew, the dynamic, yeah,
that's
they kind of had them drawn in a power system. You had Whitebeard first, you had Shiki behind him, and then you had Kaido and Big Mom. Shiki is still alive, people. You're telling me there's a pirate out there that's
Is Shiki right now?
potentially, he's alive, fam. He's alive in the canon world.
Yeah, but where is he? Like,
What?
have they mentioned where Shiki is?
They haven't mentioned where he is. He's disappeared. The last we heard of him was the Battle of Edwall against Roger.
Yeah, which he lost, but I don't know anything after that.
Well, I think after that he went to Impel Down in it, and he escaped because this was before he had the will in his head and before he
Yeah,
lost his legs. Because you know, in this
yeah.
chapter we just got, Shiki had his two swords in his hands instead of on his legs.
I would love to see him fight with them two swords. I'll be real.
I would love for this guy to return. Have you seen that panel? Yeah, well, you've probably seen it, but it's not really a panel. It's a, well, I guess it kind of is. It's a cover story, right?
Yeah,
Of Crocus drinking sake with a guy, but the guy he's drinking the sake with, you can only see him from behind.
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
You know, yeah. I'm not that wavy. I watched one of the One Piece YouTubers, and the guy's saying that I can't remember who it was. My bad. He's saying it's Shiki, and it makes so much sense just based off the fact of the get up in terms of the costume and the hair, because he's got the Japanese theme type of costume, and he's got the golden
yeah.
hair that Shiki has. It's that simple. So if that's Shiki in the cover story, then Shiki's alive today in this world, and Shiki's been saying he's got a plan that he's gonna put in place in 20 years. It's a theory, but
Did he say that in
he's
Strong World, or did he say that in canon, in the canon manga?
one of the two. One of the two. I can't tell you exactly, but I'm expecting and hoping for a Shiki return. And because of the dynamic of the way the Rocks Pirates, seem to be, I'm putting him above Kaido and Big Mom. If we get
Damn,
Shiki,
damn.
huh?
It was worth.
No, no, no. He will attack me. He'll try and kill me for that one. But if we do get Shiki, yeah, I believe he should be above them.
What's his devil fruit again? It's something to do. It's similar to do something to do with, with like gravity, right?
The float fruit.
The
He
float
can
fruit.
float
Yeah.
anything he touches. And the
Can
thing
you
you have to
imagine that
remember about
being? Yes, we know
Shiki,
Shiki is strong, but can you imagine
very
a
strong.
top tier being strong with a devil fruit like that?
I feel like he's also raw though. He's also raw in the sense that without a devil fruit, he would have been a problem. He's physically that guy
Of course,
because
of
he scrapped
course.
he scrapped um he scrapped Rayleigh and not Rayleigh. He scrapped Garp and Sengoku at the same time.
Hmm. He lost that fight, right?
He lost and got bagged, but you know he was able to physically scrap them.
Yeah, no
He
shame
stepped to
in
Whitebeard.
scrapping
He
Garth and
stepped to
Sengoku at the
Roger.
same time. The
he
federal.
was the only person before Luffy and Buggy to escape from Impel Down. So yeah, he's up there.
Who else? Didn't Fisher's Tiger escape Impel Down?
N- did he? No, no, he didn't escape Impel Down. I don't think
He
he
didn't
was
escape
ever in
Impel
Impel
Down.
Down.
Yeah, I don't remember him being Impel Down, but I remember someone saying that someone escaped Impel Down. But I don't remember it being
It
Shiki.
was
But I
Shiki.
know that Shiki did.
I think Shiki was the only guy in Chapter Zero,
Yeah.
and he's a schemer. Like Blackbeard is a planner. So I would love to see a return. Obviously, we know Wang
Yeah, it'll be
Shi,
good if he's
Captain
able to
John.
return. Of course.
Yeah,
So, who do you think this person is in the bottom left?
I I I think it's the type of thing where we should already know, but I just don't know who he is because I don't even have a name for you. He might have also been in Moria's undead army, but I can't tell you the guy. And no one's really
And
been talking about it either.
who is this on top of him? He looks kind of like one of the giants, but I know it's not one of them. But
Hmm. The Giants. Oh, Wang Ji, the guy in the
no,
middle.
Dorian Broggy. Um, just similar. They just look. He just looks kind of similar. I can't remember which is which, but he just looks like one of them. I know he's not a giant, but any idea who that is?
It's Wang Ji.
Wang Ji.
I think it's Wang Ji
Am I meant to know
from
who that is?
Moria's undead. Yeah, cause that's where Captain John's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why both of them men are there. That's probably what that is.
Do you know? I was reading this chapter right, and I was really thinking, hold on a second. It's I didn't actually understand what was going on at the very beginning. Um, until I kind of just went back a little bit. But these man are have really set these people loose, like loose on the island, and said like each one
Fam,
of these.
it's
Because when
the
he said
Hunger Games.
rabbits, I was like, this is crazy.
Fam, they have no value of human life. Like these people are evil. They've really come here, yeah. Really, they've come here for the resources at God Valley. They've already duppied the king, and they're really here to just kill everyone. And did you see what Ivankov said? Ivankov was talking about how they gave them false hope, telling them that if you survive over a 3 week span, then you'll be free to go.
Which was
It's
a
not.
lie.
It's a lie, fam. It's a lie. These people are sick. But
Give
you know
them
what's fucked up?
false
At the
hope.
same time, yeah. Whereas guys are always crying about, oh, the villains aren't even that villainous, and there's no stakes. Okay, we've got real scumbags here. We've actually got real scumbags here. So
You know, they want the villainous guys to have strength, which is a bit boring. I think this is good like this.
yeah, but I think we have that in a guy like Saturn.
We had this in a guy like Doflamingo, to be fair.
At the time, innit? But now that we've surpassed Dofi, Dofi's weak.
Yeah, but the Celestial, some bad people. But
And Dofi done the same thing, in terms of using a devil fruit as a prize for a tournament. So that's just them
he
as
did.
culture.
It is. That's a good spot. Really, that's a
Yeah,
good
you had
spot
the
right there.
Mara on the same shit. Kuma with a target in his back, arrow already in there, fam. That's crazy.
You know, yeah,
They
I
literally,
like
they
Puma.
put targets on their backs for the
They
hunt.
put targets on their backs.
That's wild, man.
I'm assuming they've put targets on their back, almost like when I was reading, I was thinking the target is on their back, so that must mean I don't think these slaves are allowed to actually look at the celestial, so they're not allowed to look at them like face to face they always have to have their backs turned to them.
What is that? You're talking about why the targets are there?
Why the target's on their back?
No, the targets
Because
are on
they
their
do get
back
points.
because that they're here to be killed for this hunt.
They are, but then that would mean any human on the island would be a target that's not a celestial anyway. But then they said at the beginning you'll get extra points for certain things.
Yeah, yeah, the rare
So
rabbits and
remember, a
whatnot.
single hit kills and also earn you a skill bonus and all these other things. Like, I think would be very much more cruel if the slaves weren't allowed to actually look at their killer. If they just had to be on the run and and how they were killed was just through the target. You had to actually hit the target on the back.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. It could definitely be that. But you know, at the same time, I'm thinking, you know, what's weird is that they've declared Garland the champion. You know, basically implying that this shit finished and concluded. But how
Mm.
the fuck are you declared the champion when Roger, Garp, and Rocks are here, but you're still the champion? So that means what? Did you not get to finish your game? Like how? Like I need to really see how this shit ended. Because for me, having Garling, Rocks, yeah, Garp, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
There's a lot
Whitebeard's
of
there,
on this
and
island.
scrolling back up to that panel of the Rocks Pirates. You know that panel, yeah. I think that panel is actually a order of strength as well. The way Oda done that panel of all the Rocks Pirates, for
Interesting.
me, is how I consider the strength to at the time. So yeah, for all the
So
people hating
Kaido
on
being the
Shiki,
weakest.
Shiki
Kaido was
back
probably the
then,
youngest at the time as well. To be fair.
exactly. Shiki, what I'm saying, what the hot take really is saying Shiki above Big Mom and Kaido. Whereas, I'm expecting some hate.
Does it count for the women? Does it count for from that? I don't know who this is. This woman with the snake. I'm assuming she's from Amazon
That's
Lily.
that's
Um,
elder. That's elder
and
Neon,
what and
innit? That's
Starsy? What
the
do they
old
count
woman
in the
that was
rankings
with
or?
that's the old woman that was with Boa Hancock in Amazon Lily.
Oh, hey.
I think. Because who else would it be? I don't know if that's a fact, by the way. That's just me. That's not I ain't confirmed that from YouTube. But yeah, that's what I think. Because why else would she be there, innit?
Guys.
Relevancy tax. And then obviously you've got Stussy. But Stussy is a real problem because we know Stussy is the first successful clone. So this Stussy here that we're looking at, is this the real Stussy or is this the clone Stussy? Because a clone can live forever because they're fake, fam. So it's like, who's the real Stussy? But I'm so are you not pissed we didn't get to see Rocks?
Um, nah, I'm not pissed. But it is a bit of a disappointment that we didn't see Rocks.
Like
Um,
at all? Like I would have liked
because this
maybe a
is
silhouette or something, man.
because think about it. If you think about it, this is if you think about it, this flashback is still like it's more of a Kuma flashback, like a little bit of a Kuma
Yeah,
flashback.
it is
So
definitely a
I
Kuma
if
flashback because of the Ginny stuff
so it's
after.
like Rocks shouldn't have, you know what I mean? So not seeing Rocks, obviously it's disappointing because we see the Rocks pirates, but we don't see Rocks. But this isn't his time to show up really. If it's a Kuma flashback or
Yeah.
part of a Kuma flashback, the Rocks we should be seeing Rocks when we see a flashback of Garp or maybe um probably
I
Garp
think that's the
really.
best time is when we get back
Yeah.
to modern day with God. That'll be the best time. But you know what I actually it's nitpicking, it's minor, but what I didn't like is for for me at that time I would consider Rocks. Well, pretty much what I want. My headcanon is that Rocks is the top pirate, and for Garp to be so concerned only with Roger, I'm like, how is Rocks not, the main issue? Because clearly for Roger, Rocks is why he's here.
Do you think it's kind of just fixed? Do you think he's just fixated on him? Just maybe he sees him maybe as a bit of a rival or just something that he just wants to
Yeah,
overcome,
maybe
kind
it's
of
that.
similar
And you know what's
to
crazy as well? Looking
Smoker
at that
and
chapter, that
Luffy.
panel, they look like each other, Garp and Roger, in their youth.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They actually look kind of similar, but a lot of characters with the black hair, they kind of look kind of like each other anyway. So
Mm.
if you give category black hair, watch people would be saying what this guy could be related to
But
Luffy.
they're,
Watch
they're D's as well, isn't it? So, it might have a deeper meaning.
potentially. Question, yeah. When do you think Smoke is gonna come back into the series?
Small will come back into the series whenever Vivi does, I think.
Okay.
Because they were in and around Alabasta too. So I think, Oda likes to, do his inverse type shit. So I think it could. But with Smoker, my hopes aren't even that high. I feel like what we thought Smoker was going to be is Kobe's taking that role.
It looks like it. Looks like Smoke has taken not even just a back seat, he's been pushed
All the way to the
all
back.
the
He's
way
looking
to
at
the dark
Tashigi
side.
right now. Kind of, But yeah, no, it's not looking great for Smoker, to be honest. Because first of all, you have to look at his fruit,
Oh,
man. He's got one of the worst like utilizations of his fruit, man.
on paper, it's a decent fruit.
Hmm.
On paper, it's an okay fruit. On paper, it's an okay fruit.
The application isn't there though. It's not really there.
Application isn't there, to be fair. But do you think that's more due to the screen time, really? Because screen time does make a difference. If you have the screen time, then usually they do
I'd
make you
say,
look
I'd
as good
say,
as you probably should be.
I'd say it's more of a yes or no because he was menacing when we were in what's that arc again? Logtown. We're in Logtown. He was menacing there. He
Yeah.
clashed with Ace. He looked decent there. Even at the wall, he had a decent showing. But once we had the time skip, he's looked crazy ever since. He's looked crazy ever since. So yeah, no, I don't feel like he's gonna be that guy. I
Considering the
think
fact
Kobe
that
might be stronger than him
remember
now.
he was talking to Shiki and he was saying to Shiki that they're going to the new world and they need to get stronger. But this is how strong he really got, which is pretty much you can't tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
he's not. He's not really. He's not that guy, man. But it'll be nice for him to get to that level. But with Smoker, who's he going to be stronger than? I think end of the series, his best bet. He could try be an admiral, but for me, he because I don't rate Greenbull, so I guess he could take Greenbull's slot. If Greenbull leaves, maybe he can be an admiral. I
you
don't
see
know.
Green Ball in anime.
No, I've not seen it yet. Apparently, it's good
They
though.
gave it a bit of they gave it a bit in the manga. Remember when we see Green Ball and then we see Queen and King and they're already defeated by Green Ball. They give it a little bit more. Um,
Than the
they
manga
were
did.
actually fighting. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
they were actually fighting. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But not that much. It was more Green Ball was now on the attack, and he's kind of realized these guys are weak, so they're just really just dodging and ducking and weaving until they just can't duck and weave anymore, and then Green Ball manages to get him.
I'll give it a look, but I'm not really a Greenbull fan. Just
And that's
something
funny that you're not
about
a
the
Green Ball
dude.
fan, considering a couple years, what? How long ago? I remember when we were making up characters, and the character that you wanted in the series was a guy who basically sucked up to Akiyinu, or
That's
he was
true.
like that evil
True.
guy who was like
But
the equivalent to Luffy. Green Ball is kind of that. and it seems like you don't like him,
He
which is
is in
kind
the
of what
sense
on.
that he wants to, get Akainu's approval, but he's a scumbag. And
That's what you
when
wanted,
I
though.
what yeah, but when I was saying that, I wanted it to be a young guy. I wanted it to be a guy of like Luffy and that man's generation, not an old
Mm.
guy coming through kissing ass. Like, I mean, what's weird
Greenville
about
was too old to be kissing Ikuni's ass, bro.
Yeah, but I just like he's such a bad guy. It's like it's hard to like. It's like me trying to like Lucci. Like I've been a Lucci fan, but when he was kissing Saint Charles's ass, it's like, wait, hold up, this guy. You rate this guy? It's like he's so bad. You have to leave him there, fam. And also,
Mr. Rob Lucci, Mr. And Rob Lucci is now
I
looking
didn't
for
like the
man
cowardice he showed against Shanks.
to
Greenball with the Wi-Fi
Greenville.
hacky. Yeah, that weren't it. That for one it. Your admiral, like look at Kizaru. Kizaru was talking about some. Oh yeah, he's gonna pull up to Wano. Like he would have got wrapped up pulling up to Wano by himself, but he was on it. It was Akainu that had to talk him out of it.
Going back to the chapter, yeah,
Kuma and Saturn.
with Saturn. Why is Saturn on the island? Because I was thinking all of a
That's
sudden, why is
crazy, isn't
Saturn
it?
just out?
Maybe because he was sent there by Emu. I don't know. I don't know why he's there, but he's there.
Because he just suddenly popped up, and I was thinking, why is this guy here just randomly?
I
Is
don't
it
think
because of
it's
the devil fruits? Is it because like I don't see any reason why he should be on the island, really?
we don't know the logistics of their hunts. So it might just be tradition that whenever they come down to the surface to do
All
these
right, but
hunts,
let's look at it like this.
one of them come. Go on.
Let's look at it like this. In present tense, Saturn is calmed down personally to kind of witness what's gonna happen with Vegapunk, right? So
Yeah.
he's come down to witness his execution. He's come down probably because of Luffy there as well. It's like this is big stakes. These are like big things. Now you're thinking, okay, they only come down when it's really, really big things that are directly affecting them. So Vegapunk being executed directly affects how they operate. I would assume it's the same thing in this flashback, but I don't see what that is. Like, what
You
would
mean
directly affect Lagorasi, really?
I feel like the fact that the celestial dragons here on the surface, in it, maybe he's here for extra
Yeah.
security. That there are five elder stars. If you got five man and you've got your minions going down to the surface to go do a little tournament, I feel like you could send
But
one of them
that's
there
why the
too.
God Knights are there, no? So what's the point of the God Knights if these guys still have to
The
come
God
by
Knights
themselves?
are there, but guess what? We can also see that the God Knights are participating. Saturn is above participating.
Yeah.
So, he's a different level of security because yeah, Garland's there to protect the bums, but it's not enough. And clearly it's not enough because if you look at who pulled up, imagine if Rox and Roger pulled up together and
Mm,
decided that yeah, we're here to exterminate the Tenryubito, that would have been the end of them. Luckily for
of
them,
course.
Roger came to stop Rox. Luckily for them, that could have
To
been
be
the
fair,
end
but
for a lot of
I
them.
hear what you're saying, but if you look at it in a way that they should have, you should always expect the unexpected, but they shouldn't have expected pirates to know about the island because of what um, the
Ginny,
little girl said. Yeah, what Ginny said that she's basically leaked it to the rest of the world, but obviously expects the unexpected, but no one should really know this is happening. So why
yeah,
would they
yeah,
need extra
definitely.
security? But I guess if they were to say that he is extra security, I'll just take it anyway. But then it's just
Yeah,
a bit
yeah. I
weird that
think
he's
it's
on
it's
the
it's
island.
it's plausible because there's five of them. You can send one down there. Plus, Saturn's probably the weakest.
Why is that? Is it because he's the first one shown?
Yeah, most likely. Most likely that.
Do you remember what his title is?
He's science. So it
Science.
could also be a narrative thing where because we're dealing with Vegapunk, it's Saturn's turn to pull up.
Interesting. That's true. So I guess if that's the case, we could probably start making theories on when we'll see the others show up, because I'm assuming they may show up one by one potentially, or they may show up as a group. But I guess they'll all have their roles due to the
Off the top
titles.
of my head, I don't even remember what the other ones are. You've got what agriculture, science,
So
I
this is
can't
just a
remember.
quick theory that's come to my head with the agriculture, with the ag. I can't say that word. I can't say that word. With
Agriculture,
that, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm too fresh. I'm too fresh for that type
Do
of
you know
word.
who that is? That's Ethan Barron. That's the guy.
Which one
That's
is
the
that again?
Gandhi guy
That's the
with
Gandhi
the
guy. So
yeah.
because I know at Elbath we're gonna see people have talked about the Godfrey. So I'm now trying to put, maybe if we were to see another one come through, it may be at Elbath.
Another
I'm
tree.
just trying to I'm just trying to link the two and two together, because you said Saturn is now here because of the science, because his title was like the science, and then Vegapunk. So there's the link there, and then with the God tree in agriculture. That's what I'm just trying to link them on when we may potentially see these characters come. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell with these things, but the way Oda would do something, he could do it in so many different ways because he used Kuma to show us God Valley, whereas
Yeah,
we
which
never
we would never
felt
have
like
guessed.
Kuma was even on God Valley, but he was there. He was there. So it it could be anything. The way he ties it back in,
Yeah,
it could be something we don't even expect, to be honest. But I think Saturn is the person who is definitely responsible for Kuma, or he's the
because
guy that deals with Kuma.
even that, how did Kuma escape?
Well, they didn't show us, but they did show us he ate the fruit, right? And
Yeah, the fruit.
Ivankov was saying, "You eat the fruit, you get out."
I assumed the Vankov meant that in the sense that we can now use the power to now get out, but being able to use your devil fruit powers right off the jump is, it shouldn't be that easy, especially to a child, especially with a fruit as powerful as that. But he was
It
able to
shouldn't.
save
Well,
500
I would,
people, right?
yeah, but there's no
He
complex.
saved
It's not
he saved
complex.
500 people while standing in front of
It's
Saturn.
not hard for Kuma, yeah, to use. You know what he done with the Strites, where he slapped them all across to where they went.
Of course. Mm.
There was no named attack to that. He was literally tapping, man, and they were gone.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that could have been what he done at the start too,
500
because
people in front of Saturn.
he liberated 500.
He liberated 500 people. But he's doing this, but
Yeah,
don't
but you
forget,
have to
Saturn is
also
right in
take
front of
into
him.
account he could have it could have been under Roger's watch.
It could, but you would assume. I'm just thinking, right now, if you can see in the panel, he's in front of Saturn. We know Saturn is relatively powerful, and I'm assuming he's not just going to let him do what he wants to do. How was he able to do what he did while standing in front of Saturn?
Do you know what probably happened?
What?
Saturn was probably about to kill him, yeah. And then the same way Shanks
Oh.
came in to save Kobe, Roger came in to save Kuma. That's
I
most
think that's a
likely what
stretch.
happened. He's there.
It's true, it's there, but
He's
wouldn't
on the
I would like
island.
to? But you would think they would have shown that.
Yeah, but I feel like
You know
they
what? I
they
think
they
the reason you haven't
they,
seen
they
it
don't
is
have to. Do you know why
because,
they don't have to? Is because
oh,
where it's happened, it's not time Saturn to go in for that attack where the last thing that was said is Kuma brought up Nika, and then dude says that's why you man need to be exterminated, and then from that line would be where Saturn goes in to kill Kuma,
You know,
and then that's
you
when a
know,
Roger
I'm not
or
the
a
one with
Garp
the theories.
or a Rox. Oh, imagine if it's Rox that saves him.
That'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
Oh, if it was Rox that saves him and blocks the now that will be a reveal.
But that would be very
Yeah,
interesting because that would show his character. Because right now we have no idea what Rox's character is like at all. So
facts.
that would be
But you
very
know
telling of Rox.
why that would gas me even more about Rox is the fact that he's bypassed all of the bum celestial dragons. He's bypassed the gods knights and he's gone straight for Saturn.
Mm,
A guy who
mm.
shouldn't even Rock shouldn't even know that Saturn's here. But if he pulls up
He
to
probably
save
shouldn't
Kumar,
even know who he is.
yeah, he shouldn't know. And that's why, yeah, if we ever get a prequel, I'd love to see Rox's journey because, you know, a guy like Roger had someone like Rox who he knew in the world is our taboo guy. He's into all this type of ancient research and trying to find out the truth of the world type of thing. Whereas with Rox, he's the pioneer of this finding the One Piece shit, or at least understanding how the world works, knowing there's a king of the world, right? So who put Rox on? Where was Rox raised? Yeah. How does he know what he knows to be trying to do what he's trying to do without there ever being a pirate king before him? How did he find out about Joy Boy?
I don't think they should be going in there. I don't think they should go that
So
into
if
that
we were
depth.
to get a prequel,
I
you'd
think
rather see
sometimes you just
Roger's
have to
journey
start from
than
somewhere.
Rock's. I'd rather see Kid
I would
Rocks.
rather see Rox's
Yeah,
journey,
definitely. I'd rather see Kid
but
Rocks to God
I
Valley,
don't think
the whole journey.
I don't think you always have to. I don't think you always have to have a character that's been put on by someone else. Sometimes just
Yeah, but
like you're just
how
out
would
here,
you?
like you're just a
But
guy.
but but you have to be inspired to want to do this. Clearly,
But
this is
then if
One
we're
Piece. It's
inspired,
inherited will.
it's but
So he
then
was
yeah,
definitely
but then
inspired
that
by
means
someone
it
or put
keeps
on by
on.
someone.
That, but then you could argue that it's just never ending. Then there's always someone that's going to put
That's
you
what
on.
Blackbeard said. That's what Blackbeard said in Jaya. It
You
is
know what he
never
said?
ending. Humans'
I guess
dreams,
that means if it's something that's beyond that's before
inherited
rocks,
will don't end.
that's that's where we get the 800 the voice entry stuff because it would have to come from the voice entry directly.
Exactly. So yeah.
But I'm not really the theory guy in the group, obviously. But I have a theory that I think Saturn just this just came to my head that Saturn let Kuma do what he done. I think he
What
let
you
Kuma do
mean?
it.
You no way.
I think he
No
left him
way
to
in
do it.
hell. He literally the last
I
thing
think he
Saturn
left him to do
said
it.
was, yeah, you're a buccaneer and
I know, I
you
know, I know,
yeah, so
I
someone
know.
obviously came in and saved him. It's probably Rocks or Roger
Probably, but I'm just trying to look
or
at it
Garp.
narratively speaking, right? And I think if someone did save Kuma, they would have shown it. And the reason why we didn't actually see Kuma save those people is because there's more to it than meets the eye. And that is that Saturn's probably left him to do what he's done and probably thought he could use Kuma as a puppet later on in the future, potentially. Because that's what Kuma actually ends up
So
becoming,
yeah,
a puppet for
but
the
for
whole
that to be
government.
the case, then you're saying that Saturn is secretly a good guy.
Not that he's a good guy, but then you can always, obviously, of course, they're manipulators. They, you can use, obviously, they work with pirates as well. They work with pirates. They work with just anyone that helps them get to their goal. You use Kuma to reach whatever goal they have. You can, which they have. They've used Kuma and they've used him as a puppet as for the world government. He's the king of a kingdom or Sorbet kingdom. He's also they also make him a an experiment into a cyborg. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that they used him later down the line. Them using his genes, yeah, to make Pacifista, they could have done the same thing harboring him and keeping him from this moment here. They could have done the same shit. It's because they blackmailed him and got him back that they were able to even do that. I don't think Saturn let him go. There's no reason for Saturn to let him go.
Mm.
He's Saturn's op. He's Saturn's op. So
I
I don't think
guess
they
it
let him
depends.
go.
I think it kind of also depends. We need to see more of Kuma's flashback because this is just a part of it, of course.
Another thing
Um,
as well is, yeah,
yeah,
Ivankov said, the media are only posting, um, what Garp did. They're making Garp look like he's the guy.
yeah,
Yeah. And, he's saying that in a way, to say it's ironic because it wasn't Garp,
yeah.
so it's either Roger or Rox who
That's
really
what they done with Luffy at Alabasta.
smoker.
Wait, it was Smoker.
Yeah. And he was pissed about it.
And I think we've said in the chat before that, or maybe I may have said, or other people may have said, is that with some of these things that people are famous for, there's usually more to the story. So the whole God being the hero of God Valley, there's probably more that meets the eye with that. It's probably not just what people have said it is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A lot of the stories are even untrue in an ironic way. Like look at like Nolan the liar. He wasn't actually lying, type of thing.
Mm.
It's just that knock up
And
stream.
Garp didn't really capture Roger. He handed himself in.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Garp gets all the plaudits for pretty much a lot of his the things that have happened, but it's not that. Even though I wouldn't be surprised if he could still do it regardless. That doesn't take away his strength feats, but it's not that.
Yeah, definitely not. But seeing Prime Garp was something else. Was something else, man. I'm trying to see
But
him and Roger clash.
Ollie Black hair, chilling on the beach, on babes in the back. Where is it? Can't even see it. But I like Kuma. I like how wholesome he is as a kid.
Yeah, he's a
Um,
he's a he's a lovely child. He's a lovely
he's a good kid.
child. Well raised. He had a good dad, good
You
mom.
know, that's something like that Worth would hate. Like he wouldn't give 2 fucks. All right, man.
Yeah, because these man, they're all haters, man. But for me, yeah, I had since I seen Big Mom's flashback, I had her as the number one, the number one baby. And then now Kuma, he's coming and it's just like, come on, man. How could you not root for this guy?
Actually, not root for him. Look at me. He's such a good kid, man.
How could you not root for this guy? This guy's up in the churchyard prick. Come on, man. He's a good kid.
I
Free
wonder who
Bartholomew
Ginny is
Kuma.
or
He's
where
been
she
through a
is.
lot.
He's been through a lot.
He's been through a lot. They killed his dad in his face, fam. And he just had
Killed
to
his dad.
hear, yeah, your mom's dead. Like, what the
Mum's
fuck?
dead as well.
He's been through it. He's been through it.
Yeah.
I thought Big
But
Mom had been through it, but nah. Already his past is worse.
who do you think has the best flashback in the series?
Whoa, and the whole series?
The whole series. Who do you think has the best flashback? Any like villain,
Fucking
protagonist?
hell. Ah, that's
Who?
mad because there's too many good ones.
You could just throw out a couple that spring to mind.
Well, I can give you my favorites.
Give me your favorites.
Nolan the Liar and Cowgirl. For that's one. Um, Nami's flashback with Nojiko.
Mm.
Obviously the Odin flashback is up there. Uh, Sanji and Zeph are up there. Um, the O'Hara flashback definitely up
Mm.
there. Shit. The Tom San flashback with Frankie and them
But
man. There's so
we could
many.
we could so many like
There's
older is
so
really
many
bad
that
when
was
it comes
so
to
good to
flashbacks, you
me.
know.
Like,
When it comes to
I've been a
flashbacks,
flashback
he's really
guy.
in his
I
bag.
remember that Tom Sam flashback. I was loving
Mm.
that shit. That shit was good. Yeah, no, I would have been cooking for ages, man. What about you? Where's
Been cooking
your
for.
what flashbacks?
I think every single flashback is good, but then the ones that pop out to me the most would be the Olden flashback, Law's flashback, and probably
Oh
Robin's
shit! How
flashback.
could I forget Law's flashback?
Law's flashback is really good.
Law's flashback is elite. It's
It's got
elite
to,
content. Flevants, nah, they went through it. Yeah,
yeah, Law's
man.
got a really good
Lammy
flashback.
and them, man. R.I.P.
Funny,
Lammy.
you know who I think has got the worst?
Everyone says Brooke.
It's Zorro, man. Zorro's flashback is the worst, man.
Oh, you mean the
The
worst in terms
worst.
of trash? It being trash.
It's just dead. I think it's dead.
You know, for me, yeah, it's crazy because as much as I am a Zoro hater, it's like I do respect the Kuina flashback, and I like the dynamic between him and Kuina and them at
Yeah.
that age wanting to be number one. Like I think they're both wavy for that. But
He
them
just
man are
what?
from a.
How did she die? She just died falling down the stairs. No,
It's
is that it?
mysterious, you know. It's real mysterious, and her dad was not mourning. Like, there's something always been off about that whole Kuina death. But
Mm.
what would be annoying is if One Piece ends and we actually find out, yeah, no, she actually is dead. Because I've always been hopeful that, you know,
She's alive.
she's alive in a way. Because,
That'd
not
be very
necessarily
interesting.
that I want her alive, yeah. It's just the fact that her death wasn't convincing. So if she has a non-convincing death
Yeah,
like that, and
it
then
was
we
off
don't
screen as
ever
well. No,
get her come back, then for me that's an L. Because then you should have just killed her properly and shown us she's dead.
normally, normally
Go on.
Older does unconvincing deaths in present tense, but um,
In a
but when it comes to
flashback, it's usually
flashbacks,
absolute.
if someone dies, he makes sure to let us know that they're dead.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So
So it's
it's
possible
likely
that
she'll come back.
it's either
But
that he
if
just
she does come back, it's
it's
another
likely
thing,
she'll come
yeah.
back. Yeah.
It's another thing. We've never seen. You know how Karina would always say how she's a woman and eventually she'll just get surpassed because she's a woman. Now that we're in the year we're in, yeah, if she is to
Mm.
come back, that's not gonna be a thing, Because look at Yamato,
No, it
look
won't.
at Big Mom, look at Boa Hancock. They do
That
not
stuff
see
only it only
themselves as
makes
handicapped by their gender.
in the One Piece world. It doesn't matter,
Exactly,
of
that's what I'm
course.
saying. It doesn't.
It only
But
matters if she
yeah, that's
lived in
why
a grounded world. One Piece
I
isn't
feel like
grounded
the
enough.
Kuina saying that is such a long time ago in real life that if she was to come back, that point won't even be relevant now.
I don't
Especially in
think it'll
this
be relevant.
medium where you can just make
You
her
can't.
stronger than
Like it
anyone
doesn't make
anyway.
sense. Like it
Yeah,
doesn't make
no.
sense in the world of One Piece. It only makes sense if One Piece was grounded, and it's not grounded enough, so it doesn't matter.
Mm, yeah, for real.
But apart from Zoro, Usopp's flashback is trash as well, by the way.
Usopp's flashback is garbage, but his way into the Straw Hats is probably one of the best. The Kuro
I think it's good.
Pirates, yeah, it's one of
Yeah,
the best. Mary, Usopp joining the crew was better than the Axel Morgan stuff, and it was better
but
than
who
the
do you think
Baratie.
was the best joining of the straw? What do you think it was Usopp?
I would say Nami because we had to really save her from the fucking Arlong Pirates. You know, I'd say
I think
Nami joining, and I was like, okay, yeah, now this crew right here, these man,
you think
yeah,
Nami's
okay,
is similar to Robin's because essentially
yeah.
they initially joined,
So it's a
but then it
rescue arc.
wasn't real.
Yeah, it's a rescue arc. It's just that it was the locations was was way closer. in the
Yeah.
pre-time skip. You
I
know,
think you're
but
right. I think Nami's is probably the best. I'll probably say Robin is second. Per second. Do you know what? I'll put
oh
Robin
no no no
first
no
and
no!
Nami second.
If you're talking about overall, yeah, no, you have to put Robin above because of her
I could put
arc. I
Robin
thought you was
first and
talking
then Nami
about
second. Yeah.
in pre-time skip. I mean, not in pre-time skip. I thought you was talking about in East Blue, who's
Okay.
who. No,
No,
overall, it
just
has to be
everyone
Robin.
has to be Robin.
Actually, no, no, no. You know what? I'll go back on that and actually say Nami because with Robin, she was already a straw hat. We had to just go and get her back. Whereas Nami wasn't actually a straw hat for real yet.
Mhm.
So that's why
Okay.
I would say Arlong Park. And it was a good way to introduce us into like the inequalities in One Piece because it's so early on that we're finding out that
Mm.
our fishmen are experiencing the racial abuse. It's a cartoon, so you wouldn't have even have thought going into it that this shit's that deep. But no, they were talking about that racism shit early, so you knew there was more to this.
Mm.
Layers,
He would come third.
huh?
He would be third. So you put Nami, you put Robin, who would be third?
Um, in terms of their story and how they joined, because
It's Robin and Nami, they
you
stand
know
out
who I have to
a
put
lot.
Chopper there.
But the
Then
others, it's a little bit more underwhelming.
I have to
You think
put
Chopper, yeah?
Chopper in there. I have to put Chopper because yeah, everyone would want it to be Monster Trio, but I think Sanji was really kicked out of the Baratier by Zeph to go pursue his dreams.
Mm.
Zeph had to remind Sanji of what he was saying when he first met him, and then
Yeah.
as for Zoro, he was on death's door, fam. He had been captured and was just left out in the sun to dry up like a prune, yeah. And he joined
Mm.
because shit, he had to, type of thing. So in terms of the narrative, people overcoming stuff. Nami went through a lot to join. Chopper went through a lot to join. With Chopper, it was mostly PTSD though,
Yeah.
being seen as a monster and whatnot. But actually, the saddest story is Brooke having to, do 50 years by yourself with your
50 years, yeah.
former crew's corpses is crazy. It's crazy that Brooke ain't crazy.
50 years by himself.
That's wild.
50, that's a well, that's debatable.
50 years before
But
he's seen anyone. And then the people he did see,
50
it
years.
was fucking Moria and them, man. And they took his shadow. It's wild.
50
Yeah, it's
years.
crazy.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
What, no shout out to Jimbo? Or
you know, I've, I used to be a huge Jinbei fan, but it's like, show me something, man. Now you're Straw Hat, you need to show me something.
he hasn't done anything much. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He needs to show me something.
He's
The
just
thing
there
about Jinbei, I
as of
always
right
saw
now. I
Jinbei as a
thought
person to have Conqueror's haki, but I guess now he's joined the crew. There's no lane for it.
yeah, there's no point really.
Yeah, there's no point because we've already got two users and we got a third who already has it, but Oda's just hating, just delaying the inevitable. But we're out here waiting. It's sad
I
because
think,
the chapter was so
yeah,
good.
when I saw Jinbei,
Oh, go on.
Luffy, and Chopper,
Huh?
when I saw those three go off to when I saw Jinbei, Chopper, and Luffy go off to onto the island, right? Egghead Island, I thought, okay, I like this dynamic because one thing I like about One Piece is when I see different members going off together. So we see like how their dynamics are like kind of like how it was pre-time skip. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, we'll see a little bit of Jinbei, but they didn't really do anything with that. So
Yeah, but I
Chopper
would
and
say
Zoro and
since
their
since Jinbei's even
relationship,
been in the
I
crew,
love I love seeing that.
it's been all action in it. They've not been in the position to sail
It's
around
been
and be
more action.
normal or
But
go
then
into the Straw Hats. Yeah, they will
I'm
be
assuming we'll
infamous,
never
but
get that ever.
no, well, no, yeah, probably not ever again because you know what the Straw Hats used to do is they, even though they were popular, New World pirates, they would go into a country, sneak into a country, and really remain try be disguised for a while. But I think those days are over now. You
Mm,
men are worth a billion. You
those days
can't
are
just
over.
go
They're too
into a
big.
place now and people don't know you're here because every time Yonko used to make movements, you'd see the Marines of wiretap this, wiretap that. They know everything they're doing. So
Mm.
when you're a Yonko, you're watched differently. So yeah, I doubt the
Like the
Stuarts
Straw
can
Hats
pull
are
that
probably
off.
worth around 8 billion, maybe 7, 8 billion.
Yeah, hundred
So
percent. The thing about the Straw Hats, they're overpowered. They're overpowered. They've got forget the allies. They've literally got Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei. That quartet is mad.
it's mad.
But sad. That quartet is not better than Rox's quartet.
No, it's not.
It's actually not. So
But do
that's
you know
why you
what they
have to
have?
put respect on dude's
But do you know
name.
what they have? They have heart.
Yeah, and they're devoted to their captain, unlike these
And they're
men.
devoted to their captain.
Because these man was literally cussing the captain.
Yeah. Yeah, Rocks may have a strong crew on paper, but the Straw
But they don't love
Hats,
him.
they don't love him. They don't love each other. They be beefing later on, like 50 years later, Big Mom kind of beefing. Like, look, the Straw Hats are a family, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to root for the family. So,
Mm,
but if Worth was there, I would say, no, man, these man have to have, will have to have a AC or C. So,
yeah, just for them to be relevant. But I've never been on that wave.
but I'm gonna call it.
You're gonna call what?